What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Beyond ARTV. It's time for another installment of Problems I Have With. Today, we are finally talking about one that I know that you guys probably see this a ton. You probably expected me to do this at some point. And I finally got pushed over the edge just after looking through some other stuff. It's been building up. I've been planning this one for a little while, but here we finally have the episode Problems I Have with Alternative Press magazine. There are a myriad of issues that pile into a lot of modern magazines, and this can also apply to other music sites like Consequence of Sound, Noisy, and most importantly, obviously, Alternative Press. This is the one that I really see getting out of control at this point, pandering so hard to youth and teen and millennial and Generation Z culture. It's just like, can you stop smacking us in the head with these GIFs and relatable emojis whenever you post the same articles over and over and over again? Now, first of all, Alternative Press seems to be sucking the dicks of the same bands over and over and over again. Black Veil Brides, My Chemical Romance, Panic at the Disco, Pierce the Veil, All Time Low, over and over and over again. Of course, most importantly, who could forget what's going to get the most clicks? 21 Pilots are huge this year, so let's put them on the cover over and over again. Oh, they're not the cover this month? Let's make them every article. Which 21 Pilots member are you? Let's take a quiz. It's like the BuzzFeedification of alternative press, and I see this over and over again. It's just like a cycle of the same bands on a rotating basis. It's just like, okay, we have to mix it up a little bit so they don't catch on to a pattern here, but Black Veil Brides are going to go every 6 to 9 months on the cover of our magazine. And we're going to post a ton of articles about Andy Black. Oh, he's got a solo album out. We are going to cover every single issue. Oh, Sleeping with Sirens. Kellen Quinn took a shit. Let's write a tweet about it. Let's go ahead and go on a rampage about what we feel like is going to happen next. What's his next move? And I see that, and they post like the same articles like 10 or 15 times, it seems like, all over their social media, Facebook, Twitter. Their presence there is just becoming cancerous at this point. And then, of course, they claim to be, of course, their bio on Twitter at least says that they are the leading source for breaking underground punk and alternative music since whenever they were founded. And they say that, and then, I don't know, what were some of our most recent covers here? 21 Pilots, not hating on them by any means, of course, but let's just be honest, they're not punk or underground. And no, they've never really covered that many underground bands on their covers, but come on, it's just getting to the point where you can't even call them alternative at this point. If you're calling 21 Pilots Melanie Martinez and Jeffree Star your 3 most recent cover stars right there, and I think Black Veil Brides are set to appear again. If you're calling all of that alternative and punk, I don't even know what to say to you. Jeffree Star and Melanie Martinez especially, and all these articles they seem to be posting about Halsey and like Troye Sivan, they're not alternative, they're not punk, they have nothing to do with the rock or alternative community whatsoever. Why are you putting them on the cover of your magazine? What's next? We're gonna see them at the APMAs. Oh, Troye Sivan, rock album of the year. What is he gonna get? Is his session drummer gonna get best drummer of the year and he's gonna win because it's a fucking popularity contest? Oh, quite possibly. That could happen because, it's all fan voted, and 21 Pilots win everything every time they have anything that they're nominated in because it's pulled in from the fans. It's like they were claiming to be different, and I had hopes for it the first year whenever I saw the APMAs, but then I saw that everything was just fan voted, and it's just like, oh, whatever band is most popular and whichever one has the most fans that they keep posting to on Twitter or Facebook and smashing them in the head with, hey, go vote for us. They're going to be the ones that win. Oh, absolute shocker right there. So we saw the same bands sweeping over and over again at the APMAs that existed so far. Now let's also talk about the point that I find kind of excruciatingly painful, very cringeworthy. It's the fact that they will try to relate anything to music because they're so desperate for clicks on their sites. It's like, oh, somebody was caught wearing this shirt somewhere dancing to a song. Somebody was wearing a Paris shirt, but they were dancing to Shakira. Had nothing to do with it whatsoever. But hey, let's post this article because it's a relatable, funny video that's blowing up right now. Every other news site posted it, so we're gonna post it too. And then, of course, they shout out every time anybody in the scene has a birthday, anything like that, anything that has to do remotely with the scene. whatsoever. It's just like, let's jump all over that. And I kind of understand that one a little bit more than others. But just looking back to some of the others, just scrolling through their timeline, it's just like I see numerous articles over and over and over again that seem to say the same thing about all of these musicians, just like, oh, they did this today, or we saw them here, or else, this man was caught doing this, and he happened to say something that was related to a quote from one of Neck Deep's songs. We have to post about it on our Twitter timeline. Hey, fellow kids, it's BuzzFeed here. I mean, Alternative Press Magazine, because that's another thing that you will consistently see while scrolling through their timeline. The praise hands emoji, because Paramore are almost done with that new album. Oh, we're dying laughing. And the fact that every social media account on all of theirs, and really just in general these days, if you look across MTV or even Consequence of Sound, all of these seem like they're run by a prepubescent teenager that is literally crying and screaming and so fucking excited for everything, because that's how many emojis they are overusing at this point. And I've even seen sites like Billboard using this, and it's like, what are you doing? Stop it right now. Wake up and be fucking professional. You claim to be journalists, but then you write like one sentence about the actual article and then post like 20 GIFs in a row. It's just like, I'm not waiting for that to load on my phone. Stop using extra data on me and actually give me a story. Did I say something about dick sucking earlier? Because they're definitely cradling and sucking every dick in the scene at this point. I'm talking every band out there. Have you ever seen them give a negative review? Have you ever seen any review lower than 3 stars other than some band that they don't promote or have anything to do with? In fact, I don't even see those anymore. Pretty much everything that comes out is between a 3.5 and a 4.5 out of 5. And it's just like, who is writing these reviews? Are you listening to the album like one time and you just assume that everything is passable? It's like they can't even be remotely critical about anything they touch. It's just like walking on glass all day. Well, it wasn't the best thing in the world, but they're sure trying. That's what I see every reviewer writing for alt press, and I am absolutely sick of it. You don't even have the balls to be critical whatsoever. Billboard, maybe a little bit, I get it. I understand that pretty much everything they review, nothing I think I've ever seen got below a 75 out of 100 because, people are always charting on Billboard and they want people to come in and do interviews for them. But honestly, you're a leading voice in the community, supposedly, but you can't even be remotely critical. It's like a mom who won't tell her son to stop eating 50 fucking cheeseburgers every day. It's just like, well, you can do it. It's your choice. You're gonna die at some point, but, it's okay. Keep digging the music that you want to make. Keep eating what you want to eat. You'll be fine. Look, I'm not saying that Alt Press is the worst magazine in existence. There are much worse things out there, but it's just the fact that so many people seem to have looked up to them, and it seems like they're transitioning for some reason into this new phase, trying to please new people and losing all amounts of integrity. It's not like they've done away with all the legitimate news stories. They're definitely there. Obviously, they're bringing you news about bands, whether it be a breakup or else a new tour getting announced. There's definitely a little bit of love for some of the smaller bands, but I feel like they're so overlooked. That's another huge problem that I see with them, is the fact that they don't give the exposure to the bands that they say that they talk about, underground and punk community, but you rarely see articles like that featured. And like I said, you see the same bands over and over again being featured most prominently, and you can guess that the majority of their news stories are going to be about one of those bands. Oh, and at this point in editing, I realized we forgot to talk about the whole photography problem. Yeah, that's right, I'm talking about the AP photo army bullshit. It's their way around not paying photographers and then using their photos for whatever they want to, and even in their own terms of service, it's like, oh, we might forget to credit you, or we might forget to shout you out. What kind of nonsense is that? You're a professional magazine, supposedly, yet all you want is outside contributors to do the work for you. Okay, back to the rest of the video. What would I like to see from Alt Press going forward? I would love to see them get back to featuring some other bands, at least a little bit more prominently, do away with just the BuzzFeedification of their whole social media presence, and stop being so toxic. It's just like you're spewing at this point. And it's like, if I want to go to Alt Press, it's probably for news, considering you're a leading news source, supposedly. So I would definitely like to see more about that, more features, more things like the AP podcast. I know they've done some good things over the years and even in recent years, but it's really like you need to define your presence a little bit more. Make yourself stand out instead of doing the same thing over and over again. It's like when people want me to talk about the same bands every week on 7 on Sunday, my series that I have right here on Beyond ARTV. Do I want to talk about My Chem every single week and feature them in every list that I put out? Absolutely not, because that would bore me to tears. So I try to always help you guys branch out, and I want Alt Press to do the same thing. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Problems I Have With. Keep in mind this was just my take on things. Be sure to leave a like on the video today. Subscribe to the channel, because friends don't let friends go unsubscribed. If you want to see the last episode, Problems I Have With the Chainsmokers, click right here. Or a recent episode of 7 on Sunday, click right here. All of my social media can be linked in the description down below. And shout out to Infinity on Hannah, my girlfriend, for helping me write this episode. I will see you guys very soon right here on Beyond ARTV.